Hello everyone, welcome to the Bodhi Academy. In today's video, we will continue with the 11th biology first chapter, that is the living world. So in the last class, we were learning about the characters or the properties that using which we could define the word living. So basically we were learning about all the characters of living organisms and which of these characters could be said as defining property. So today we will learn about the diversity in the living world. So what do you mean by diversity? Diversity means the variety of animals that are found on the earth. So we know that there are a number of species that are known and described, and the number is between 1.7 to 1.8 million. So the number and types of living organism that exist on earth is referred to as biodiversity. Okay, so biodiversity is the number and the types of organisms present on earth. Okay, now since we know that there is a vast variety of living organisms that exist on the planet earth, from microbes to insects, plants, animals, birds, reptiles and so on. So in these groups also there are various variations. Now how do we study all about these organisms? So there are, as stated earlier, there are millions of plants and animals in this world, and most of us know these plants or these organisms by the local names. Now because of these local names there would be a lot of confusion when a person from one region is talking to a person from a different part of the world. That is why there is a need to standardize the naming of the living organism. Okay, standardizing the naming means one particular organism will have only one name which is accepted globally or worldwide. Okay, and that is called as the scientific or the biological name. Okay, such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. Okay, this is what standardizing of the name means. Now this process of giving a standard name to all the organisms is called the nomenclature. So nomenclature means the naming of organisms. Now this nomenclature process is only possible when the description, the organism is described correctly. Okay, and this process of identification or observing the characters of the organism is called as identification. Okay, only if the identification of the organism is correct, we can name the organism correctly. Then the naming of the organism has to follow some of the procedure, and these procedures is given in the, it is provided in the International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, which provides the procedure for naming the plants, and for animals it is, for animal taxonomist it is International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Okay, ICZN and ICBN. The scientific names ensure that an organism has only one name. Okay, so a particular organism can have only one scientific name. They also ensure that such a name has not been used for any other known organism. Okay, so one name cannot be repeated for more than one organism. Now the biologists follow universally accepted principles to provide the scientific names to the organism. Now the type of nomenclature that is in use is the binomial nomenclature. Okay, Binomial means the scientific name has two parts, okay, or two components. The first one is the generic name and the second part is the specific epithet, okay. So the generic name, the first part of the binomial nomenclature indicates the genus of the species, whereas specific epithet indicates the species of the organism. And this system of two component naming of organism was given by Carolus Linnaeus, okay. So this system of naming the organism with two word format was found very convenient. Now let us take an example. The scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica, okay. So here there are two parts to the name. The first one, Mangifera, indicates the genus of the organism, the tree, and indica is the species. So now there are certain universal rule of nomenclature which are to be followed whenever we are giving or naming an organism, or whenever we are writing these names. So the biological names are generally in Latin, okay. They are of Latin origin irrespective of where these organisms come from, okay. Then they are written in italics. So the first word in the biological name represents the genus, while the second component denotes the specific epithet or the species. Now both the words in the biological name when handwritten, okay, when we are writing the names on paper, when they are handwritten, they should be separately underlined, and when they are printed, they should be printed or typed in italics, okay. For example, if I write Mangifera indica, so both these names should be underlined separately, okay. These lines should not join. Then the next rule is that the first word denoting the genus should always start with a capital letter. So yeah, the first word should always start with a capital letter, and the first alphabet of the species should always be written in small letter. Then the name of the author can be written after the specific epithet, okay, and it should be written in an abbreviated form. So for example, the name Mangifera indica was given by Carolus Linnaeus, so here we can write as Lin, okay, the name of the author in abbreviated form. So here the name of the author appears after the specific epithet, that is at the end of the biological name, written in abbreviated form. Example, Mangifera indica Lin. Now this indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. Now this is all about the nomenclature, how naming of organisms is done. Then let us see what do you mean by classification of organism. Now since it is nearly impossible to study about all the living organisms that are present on earth, it is necessary that we divide these organisms into certain convenient groups, okay. So the process, this process is called classification, okay. It is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters, okay. So we observe certain similar characters in the organisms, and we try to group these organisms together in certain groups. So when we think of any example, for example, when I say dogs and when I say mammals, you will picture the only mammals in your head, okay. You will not think about a plant. That is because we have already categorized all these animals into these convenient categories. Okay, and these categories, the scientific term which is used for these categories is taxa. Okay, so these taxa, for example, all these categories, for example, mammals, then dogs, animals, plants. So all these represent a taxa or a category at different levels. Okay, there are different levels or ranks of these taxa or the categories. Now hence, based on the characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa, and the process of classification is called as taxonomy. Now since the process of classification is called as taxonomy, all these characterization, identification, classification and nomenclature are all these processes of all these form the basic to taxonomy. Now, since earlier times, humans have always been interested in knowing more about the organisms which are around it, and in earlier times they were mostly interested in the organisms which were useful for them for food, clothing and shelter. Okay, then later on they started to develop more interest in knowing the relationships between the organisms. Okay, and the branch of study which learns more about their diversities and the relationships among the organisms is called as systematics. Okay, this is also a word that is derived from Latin language, that is systema. So the next part is taxonomic categories. Now, classification of such a vast variety of organisms is not a single step process. Okay, it involves a hierarchy of steps. So this is how we classify anything, right? So first we'll have a vast group of organisms. We'll try to divide them into 2 or 3 groups. Then this group will further have more divisions and so on. Okay, so this will form a hierarchy, right? There will be different ranks which will be formed. So this is a hierarchy of steps, and each step will represent a rank or a category. Okay, so each of these will represent a rank or category. Now, since the category is the part of overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called a taxonomic category. Okay, now since all these categories are overall part of the taxonomic arrangement, each of these are called as taxonomic categories. And all the categories constitute together the taxonomic hierarchy. Okay, so this entire thing is so called as taxonomic hierarchy. Now there are various groups or the taxonomic categories that we have to learn about. So the first one is the species, then after species we have genus, then family, order, class, then phylum, and the last is kingdom. Okay, so these are all the taxonomic categories showing the hierarchical arrangement in ascending order. So first we have species, then genus, family, order, class, phylum or division, and then the kingdom. Okay, so the organisms that belong to one particular species will have the most similarity. Okay, most similarities. and as we go higher and higher, so as we go higher, the common things or the similarities will keep on decreasing as we go from species to genus to kingdom. Okay, so the first one which we have is species. So taxonomic studies consider a group of individual organisms with fundamental similarities as a species. Okay, so a group of organisms with fundamental similarities are called a species. Now one should be able to distinguish one species from the other closely related species based on a distinct morphological differences. So there will be distinct morphological differences between two closely related species. Now for example, Mangifera indica, Solanum tuberosum, that is potato, and Panthera leo. All the three names indicate indica, tuberosum and leo. Okay. Now these are the specific epithets of the scientific name, while the first one are the genera, that is another higher level of taxon or category. Now each genus may have one or more specific epithet representing different organisms. Okay. Now for example, here we have the genus Panthera. Okay, Panthera. Now this genus has more than one specific epithet. Okay, means under this genus there is more than one species. For example, one we have Leo, meaning lion. Then another specific epithet that we have is Tigris. Okay, so the second is Tigris, that is a tiger. Okay, so these genera Panthera has more than one species, and both these species which are there, Panthera leo and Panthera tigris, they will be easily distinguishable based on some distinct morphological differences. Then the second category which we have is genus. Okay, so genus comprises a group of related species which has more characters in common in comparison to species of other genera. Okay, now a genus will have a group of related species. Okay, all the related species will be grouped together in one genus, and they will have more similar characters as compared to species of other genera. Okay, or different genus. Now we can say that genera are aggregates of closely related species. Okay, so genera are aggregates of closely related species, means they are small groups of closely related species. For example, potato and brinjal. Okay, now these are two different species, but both of them belong to the genus Solanum. Okay, so the genus Solanum will have both brinjal and potato grouped under it. Then similarly we have Panthera leo, Panthera pardus and Panthera tigris. Okay, with several common features are all the species of genus Panthera. So we have Panthera leo, Panthera tigris and Panthera pardus, which means leopard. Now all these are different from each other. Okay, these species are different from each other, but they have certain common characters. That is why they are grouped in the genus Panthera. Now this genus Panthera differs from another genus, that is Felis. Okay, which will include the cats. So since all these tiger, leopard and lion have common features that are different from the other genera, that is felis, that is why they are grouped together. Then the next category is family. So a family has a group of related genera with still less number of similarities as compared to genus and species. So as I have said, the number of similarities will keep on decreasing as we go higher up. So they will have still less number of similarities as compared to the genus and species. Now families are characterized on the basis of both vegetative and reproductive features of the plant species. Now an example is different genera like Solanum, Petunia and Datura are all placed in the family Solanaceae. Okay. So all these three are placed in the same family, that is Solanaceae. And an example in animals is that the genus Panthera, which consists of lion, leopard and tiger, and the genus Felis, which is the cat family, are both put together in the family Felidae. Okay, so they are all grouped together in the family Felidae. Now this family Felidae is different. It will have many differences from the family Canidae. Okay, so they are separated into two families, Felidae and Canidae. Then the next category which we have is order. Now you have seen earlier that categories like species, genus and families are based on a number of similar characters. Generally the order and other higher taxonomic categories are identified based on the aggregates of characters. Okay. Now order being a higher category, it is the assemblage of families which exhibit a similar characters. So few of the families which will have some similar characters will be grouped together in a order. Okay. For example, the families like Convolvulaceae, Solanaceae are included in the order Polymonials. Okay, and in animals the order Carnivora includes both the Felidae and Canidae family. Then the next is class. Okay, this category includes related orders. For example, Primata, which is comprising of monkeys, gorilla and even us humans. So this is placed in the class called Mammalia. Okay, Mammalia will include all these, the Primata, so which further has all this, monkey and all. Okay, so these are the example, gorilla. Then now this Primata is grouped together with the order Carnivora, which includes animals like tiger, all those which we have learned, Panthera, Leo and also tiger, cat, dog, all this. Okay, so finally the common feature is that all these are mammals, so they are grouped in the class Mammalia. Then the next category after class is phylum. Okay, so classes comprising of animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds along with mammals constitute the higher category called the phylum. Okay, now these are based on the common features like presence of notopod and dorsal hollow neural system. Okay, and they are included in the phylum Chordata. Okay, those organisms which will have this notopod and the presence of dorsal hollow neural system will be grouped in the phylum Chordata. Now this word, that is phylum, is used mostly in case of animals, whereas in case of plants the term that is used is called division. Now the final category which we have is called kingdom. Okay, so all the animals belonging to various phyla or various division are assigned to the highest category called the kingdom. Okay, so the highest category of classification is the kingdom. So all the animals which belong to various phyla, they will be assigned under the kingdom Animalia. Okay, kingdom in Animalia means animal kingdom, which is in the classification of animals, and the kingdom Plantae is a distinct group and comprises of all the plants of various division. Okay, so what we have is, so kingdom Animalia will constitute all the different phylum of animals. Okay, so all the animals will be grouped under this kingdom Animalia, and all the plants will be grouped in the kingdom Plantae. So the taxonomic categories from species to kingdom have been shown in this figure. So as I have already said, now as we go higher from species to kingdom, the number of common characteristics goes on decreasing. Okay, so as I have said, the number of common decrease in common characters. Decrease in common characters as we go higher up on the this hierarchy of classification. Okay, so the lower the taxa, more are the characteristics that the member within the taxon share. Okay, so the lower the taxa, there will be more similarities which will be shared by the organisms that are present in that taxa. So higher the category, greater is the difficulty of determining the relationship with other taxa. So these are some of the examples which are given with their taxonomic categories. First is man, that is human beings. The biological name is Homo sapiens, genus is Homo, family Hominidae, order is Primata, class mammal, and phylum Chordata, and the kingdom is kingdom Animalia. Then housefly Musca domestica, genus is Musca, family Musidae, order Diptera, class Insecta, and phylum Arthropoda. Then common example is mango, Mangifera indica, genus is Mangifera, family Anacardiaceae, order Sapindales, class Dicotyledone, division Angiospermae, kingdom Plantae. Then wheat, the biological name is Triticum aestivum, genus is Triticum, family Poaceae, order Poales. Then class is Monocotyledone, and division is Angiospermae, and the kingdom is kingdom Plantae. So this is all in this chapter. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe to the Bodhi Academy.